Now on Sunrise, new details from authorities about what happened leading up to the Border Patrol shooting in Portland last week. This morning, we're also learning more about a previous shooting one of the victims was allegedly involved with. Plus,
especially now the number reaching up to 8, it's extremely heartbreaking for the families and for the victims.
8 people have come forward accusing a Pacific County fire chief of child sex crimes, what he's charged with, and how victims are describing their interaction with him. And later, it's a unique fundraising tactic that you'll probably only find in Oregon. We'll let a group of senior citizens to create a naked calendar. Your news at Sunrise starts right now. Well, good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. We do have a dense fog advisory in effect right now for the Willamette Valley, which could mean low visibility on your morning commute. Rod Hill and Chris McGinnis are taking a look at your weather and traffic.
And let's start with one of the areas that's had fog most consistently. Now, visibilities in Salem have done what they often do with these foggy mornings. It's really bad, then it's not so bad, then it's back to being really bad. So, 10 minutes ago, you could see the state capitol. Now you can't. It's been back and forth. 32 is the number. So in addition to the fog, we're back to a winter coat, cold, frosty morning out there. You may have to do some scraping as you step outside. This is super cool. Chehalem Tasting Room in Sherwood. Here's the fog laying down low. There's Mount Hood, and there's the basic clear sky up top. So once we lose the fog, there are no clouds up above it. There you see the clear skies from the top of the Wells Fargo building and looking at the shallow fog. This is really cool looking, blanketing the city. That's the Markham Bridge right there. So how cool of a shot is that? 33, another view from the Pioneer Park building. So to the bus stop we go. Foggy, frosty conditions out the door, 32 degrees. We'll be 44 at noon. Visibilities will certainly be improved, and we assume we'll see increasing sunshine into the afternoon. We may or may not make it to 50. Yesterday it was 55. Here's Chris.
To your point about the fog, it does certainly appears to be the thickest south of town. This is I-5 near Art Road, so as you work your way out of Marion and Clackamas County heading northbound, you can see obviously the headlights on the left-hand side of your screen. That's the northbound commute. It's a little foggy there. We'll go farther south into the Albany area where, in addition to the fog, they've got temperatures near freezing, so there certainly could be some slick spots on the road in the central and southern Willamette Valley this morning. Close to the metro area, we're not doing so bad just yet. We've got all the usual slow spots, but as we check out the drive times, we're still in pretty good shape. Less than 20 minutes to get you from Troutdale, 21 minutes right now from Hillsborough, and the trip out of Clark County is fine on the Glen Jackson Bridge. The I-5 commute, 15 minutes now to get you from Main Street to the Fremont. China?
Thank you, Chris. We start this half-hour Sunrise with new details about last week's shooting involving U.S. Border Patrol in southeast Portland. Court documents indicate federal officers shot a man and a woman last Thursday after the truck that they were in repeatedly rammed an unoccupied rental car being used by federal agents. This all happened in the parking lot of Adventist Health Primary Care in southeast Portland. Several agents said that they were fearful for their safety. And apparently months before this incident, local law enforcement was already investigating one of the victims for her alleged involvement in a shooting case back in July. For more details on that, we head to Thomas Schultz, who is live this morning in Washington County. So Thomas, what do we know about this case?
Yeah, well, China, that shooting in July happened in this neighborhood right behind us at the Frank Estate Apartments, which is a quiet residential neighborhood on Southwest Furlock Way. Investigators say that one of the people tied to that shooting is also one of the people who were shot by a federal agent in a targeted stop last week. The sheriff's office tells KGW no one was hurt in that July shooting, and suspects fled the scene. Months later, it's an incident neighbors still remember vividly.
And then next thing I know, I see the sheriff's department coming down my stairs and in our backyard and stuff. Fully got, the beanbag guns ready to go and stuff. So, just very confused what was going on.
Detectives identified Betsabe Zambrano-Contreras as a person of interest in the case. Federal officials say she was one of 2 people shot by Border Patrol agents last week. The other is Luis Nino Mancada. Federal officials say both are tied to a Venezuelan gang and a prostitution ring. Back in July, here at the Frank Estate, an arrest affidavit by an FBI agent says sheriff's deputies interviewed 2 victims who were not injured. They said they'd engaged Zambrano-Contreras in prostitution services. The affidavit says she left after a dispute, then came back with several men and tried to break into the apartment. One victim ran out of the back of the apartment and says he was shot at while running away. 6 months later, neighbors that we spoke with yesterday say that they're shocked that that shooting has escalated into what it is here today. Meanwhile, Zambrano-Contreras has been transferred to an ICE facility in Tacoma, Washington. Nino Mancada is behind bars and expected in court on Wednesday. Jenna?
I'm Thomas Schultz reporting live for us this morning. Thank you, Thomas. Meantime, Portland police are reviewing a complaint about comments that an officer made at a recent protest. The interaction was recorded, and in the video, a demonstrator appears to question the officer about the deadly shooting of Renee Good in Minneapolis. Take a look.
Renee Nicole Good, you would shoot her too!
If she drove a car at me, yes.
So you would say second service, you absolutely clear for me.
What? Sometimes criminals get shot. If they threaten a
By
cop,
who? By
they
who?
get shot. By law
Criminals
enforcement.
get shot by law enforcement?
Absolutely.
When they're doing nothing?
No, when they're breaking the law.
So the officer has now been assigned to other duties as the police bureau reviews a complaint against him. Portland Police Chief Bob Day tells KGW in a statement, quote, "Tensions are high at this time, and this is affecting all of us, including community members and Portland Police Bureau members. Our goal was to ensure that community trust is maintained and that members of the bureau consistently represent the professionalism and standards that everyone deserves." Stay with KGW as we continue to cover the fallout from the Border Patrol shooting last week. For all of our previous coverage, go to our website, kgw.com, and our streaming TV app, KGW+. Now to other local headlines. Portland police are investigating after two men were found dead at a recycling center in North Portland days apart. The facility is on North Hunt Street, just north of Columbia Boulevard. Police say that the first body was discovered January 5th, the second on January 9th. No details so far about what happened to the men, but police, the homicide unit is investigating. Police don't believe the public is in danger. To Pacific County now on the Washington coast, where the Ilwaco Fire Chief Jeffrey Archer appeared in court yesterday. He was arrested on Friday after 3 people accused him of sexual abuse. The Pacific County Sheriff's Office says Archer molested or raped 3 minor children several times between 2013 and 2019 while he was babysitting them. At least one victim told police that Archer gave them drugs or alcohol. Another said it happened frequently. Pacific County Sheriff Daniel Garcia called the arrest of a public figure that is in this position of trust troubling.
Anything like this hinders and hurts the emergency services. We're all in a position of trust, which needs to be coveted, maintained, and not broken. And this is extremely disheartening.
Archer is facing 37 counts, the vast majority of child molestation and rape of a child. The sheriff's office says there could be more victims after at least 5 more people have come forward following the news of his arrest. Archer's bail was set at $500,000. He's currently in jail and on administrative leave. If you or someone you know is a survivor of sexual assault, know that help is always available. You can call that number there on your screen, 1-800-656-4673, to reach the National Sexual Assault Hotline 24 hours a day. Again, that number is 1-800-656-4673. In Boring, Oregon, crews with Clackamas Fire were busy yesterday afternoon cleaning up after a tanker carrying nearly 2,000 gallons of fuel overturned. About 400 gallons of that spilled onto the road. This happened just before 3 o'clock on Southeast Revenue Road, and the driver was able to get out unharmed. Hey, take a look at this. Volunteers helped the Hood River County Sheriff's Office rescue a couple of climbers over the weekend. The Sheriff's Office says that one of the climbers fell into White River Glacier while the 2 were on Mount Hood Saturday. The Sheriff's Office says climbing conditions are challenging right now because of variable snow conditions and warm temperatures. All right, your time now is 7:08. Taking a live look from our Wells Fargo Skycam, a fog advisory is in effect for the valley, and I think this just shows what we're talking about here. Clear skies above the fog, a lot of fog under that.
I'm going to come back to that same shot in a moment and talk about it because there's a lot to see right there, or not see, of course. I do want to point out it's sunny, or it will be once the sun pops up along the coast. Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. It was 60 degrees at noon yesterday in Lincoln City. I did the noon show and the temperature popped up and I went, wow. So warmest temperatures in the state, and these dry temperature inversion patterns are almost always at the beach. You folks will see another lovely, mild afternoon with light winds. Now, let me back up for a second. Sorry, and now I'm going to go back to where I wanted to be. All right, here we go. This is the Wells Fargo camera. Now, notice you can see the fog. Now, notice the Wells Fargo building looking down. It's clear up top. So this tells you it's a shallow fog layer. You would make the assumption that we'll get out of that during the morning, the fact that it's so shallow. And then number 2, as you look off to the east, you see no fog. There is no fog out on the East Metro this morning. Another sign that Portland should be clearing out of all of this and go on to have really a nice afternoon. Fog has been worse all morning on the west side. This is our visibility map. Everything colored in white shows you reduced visibility. 3/4 of a mile is Salem, so that's better than it was, and dense fog down to Eugene as well this morning at times. Temperature map shows a lot of us right around freezing, 34 in Portland. Actually, some of the numbers have come up a degree or two as of late. There's 32 though, Salem, Dallas, 34 degrees down in Albany. The afternoon map, all dry, 40s to about 50 out east. Nearing 60 today in Central Oregon. There's Bend. We'll be well up into the 50s at the coast, and we'll be upper 40s to about 50 in the valley. Tomorrow, low clouds and fog may last much of the day. If that's the case, only mid-40s. And we might hit 50 today. I just threw a cautionary 49. I don't want to overly promise a warm temperature, so you step outside without your shirt on, then you'd be cold. Here's Chris McGinnis.
Under promise, over deliver. There you go. You make a great salesman. Let's show you I-5 through North Portland. That's up near Columbia Boulevard. No fog there. Traffic is getting busier, but so far no major issues. On the other side of town, the fog, to Rod's point, is a little thicker down to the south. That's the live look right now in Wilsonville, where it is a bit on the thick side. 18 minutes, though, getting you in from Wilsonville Road to downtown. So that's not in too bad a shape just yet. A reminder, again, overnight tonight, a section of I-5, 4 miles of it, closes through Marion County near Salem as ODOT continues that I-5 widening project. The closure is tonight and tomorrow night from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. It's a fairly simple detour on and off the freeway from Kubler Boulevard to Commercial Street, but just know that that will add some time to your commute overnight. Also, this weekend, the Abernathy Bridge, I-205, closes overnight both directions between Oregon City and West Lynn as ODOT does some sign bridge installation. That closure from 11 p.m. Friday to 6 a.m. Saturday and 11 p.m. Saturday to 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. China, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Oregon legislators are preparing for this year's session coming in 3 weeks. Why OHSU is lobbying to maintain funding for one of its programs. And later at 7:45, as the Seahawks make their way through the NFL playoffs, the team has a warning for you about ticket reselling. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Oregon legislators are meeting this week to prepare for the 2026 legislative session, which starts on February 2nd. Meanwhile, the president of OHSU in Portland is lobbying the legislature in Salem, urging them to maintain funding for something called Graduate Medical Education, or GME. Dr. Sharif El-Nahal says with the state's budget pressure, there's a proposal to cut GME funding in Oregon by around $12 million. And if that happens, matching federal dollars would also disappear for a combined loss of $29 million.
Why is government funding required for graduate medical education? Well, these really important people in our health system are a major part of our workforce, but because they are not yet licensed in many cases and are not yet completed in their training. They cannot bill for their services. And so in order for us to support and invest in the infrastructure to train them, this funding has been critically important.
The cuts would not only affect OHSU, but there are 5 accredited GME programs in Oregon, though OHSU is by far the largest. The hospital says around 27 full-time positions would need to be cut if their proposal passes. Well, Monday was the first day of Washington's legislative session, and lawmakers are facing a $2 billion deficit. Washington Speaker of the House blames that on President Donald Trump's tariffs and policies. She says that the state is losing federal dollars, paying for everything from electrical car chargers to health care. The governor is proposing an income tax that he and backers say would only impact millionaires, but some aren't so sure it's the right move. Republicans say they're ready for a fight this session.
It might be a millionaire's tax today, but eventually it's going to be a tax on you and me. People need to think, how many times have politicians in Olympia raised my taxes versus how many times have they cut my taxes?
The governor says he'll only sign off on millionaires' tax if there's other tax breaks that come along with it that benefit families, like sales tax cuts on food, toiletries, and diapers. He also thinks it would require a constitutional amendment. All right, your time now is 7:16. We are taking a live look from our brand new Skycam out in Seaside. This is the first time I'm seeing it. First time I'm using it. It looks zen.
So I don't know, is that on the north, the little cove that's on the north of downtown? I honestly am not sure of the exact location of the camera, but yeah, this is the first morning we've had it on the air, our Seaside camera, so we're kind of trying to educate ourselves. But you see some cloudiness there. It's more clear down in Lincoln City. It's going to be a great day at the coast, though. Easily mid-50s. Yesterday I did the noon show. And here's your Lincoln City camera, and it popped up and it was 60 degrees. I'm, what?
Excuse me? Yeah.
So really, really lovely weather at the beach again today. I do want to go the opposite direction, show you the mountain. Here's Timberline Lodge. That's mainly clear skies up top and a rising temperature. This is correct and this is current. 49 degrees. Nearly 20 degrees warmer than we are here in the valley. A big time temperature inversion. Warmer air up top, colder air down low. Usually it's the opposite. And when this happens, sometimes even if you get sun, the cold air doesn't really mix out in the valley and we're cooler than we otherwise would be. Now yesterday with no temperature inversion, we hit 55 degrees. This morning we're colder than 24 hours ago and we do have fogs. We'll see how warm we make it up to or not. You can see the main cloud flow has now moved well to our north. So literally once we get out of the fog, we're going to be looking at sunny skies. This is 11 o'clock this morning, still showing some fog in parts of the valley today. The future cast model really loves more widespread and more thick in terms of the layer of it. Fog and low clouds tomorrow morning. If that's the case, we may not get sun tomorrow. And if we don't get sun tomorrow, we'll only be in the mid-40s for high temperatures. All of our cameras have alluded to the fact that the fog this morning is fairly shallow, meaning it doesn't extend vertically up very high. That typically would indicate that before the noon hour, we're going to be getting out of it. Now, here's some increasing fog from the Chehalem Tasting Room in Sherwood. But you can still see the blue sky up top. There's the foggy scene on I-5 coming past the Moda Center into downtown Portland. It's 33 degrees out of PDX. 39 up in Kelso, much warmer. Newport 37. There's 32 in Salem and 27 Eugene. Not only a dense fog advisory for the valley, but a freezing fog advisory from Albany and Lynn County southward down to Eugene. Heightened chance of maybe some icy spots being created out of the fog. It's pretty much just a mostly clear morning out east. 20 in Burns, 21 in Baker City, it's 32 in Bend. Coast forecast today, sunny, warmest temperatures in the state, just lovely weather. Again, these temperature inversion patterns produce almost always the warm garden spot along the Oregon coast. In the valley, maybe we make it to 50 with developing sun, maybe we don't. Same thing in Portland. I've got us at 49. We'll see. Tomorrow, 46 with a cloud deck and fog that may last longer. And then Thursday, Friday, east winds develop. That would keep some of us above freezing, keep us fog-free, mid-50s. And then we get back to light winds, which open the door for freezing and fog conditions again in the mornings on Saturday, Sunday, and also on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Monday. Coming up, the big holiday. All right, Chris, back to you.
Playing with the kids on the playground yesterday afternoon. It was awesome. It was great. It was great. All right, I-5 through North Portland is getting busier. No fog up there, but the drive is certainly a little slow and steady there, as you might expect for this hour of a What day is it? Tuesday morning commute. The inbound Sunset now up to 20 minutes. 21 minutes gets you in from Troutdale. We'll shift gears. The fog certainly is a little thicker the farther south you go. Here's a look at the trip through Westland. I-205. It doesn't look like it's impacting the drive too severely at this point. But again, the farther south and west you go out of downtown, it looks like the thicker the fog gets. Pretty thick in Marion and Lynn counties right now along sections of I-5 as well. China, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. More fallout after the Department of Justice launches a criminal investigation into the Federal Reserve. The president now saying he is not involved with opening inquiry. More on this after the break.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
As Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell slams the motives for the Justice Department's criminal inquiry into the central bank, some Republicans are also raising concerns. Several GOP lawmakers say the inquiry could undermine the Fed's independence. NBC's Alice Barr has the details from Washington, D.C.
This morning, political pushback over the Justice Department's investigation into Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, with a series of Republican lawmakers voicing concerns.
I know Chairman Powell very well. I will be stunned. I will be shocked if he has done anything wrong.
Chairman Powell himself announced the Federal Reserve had been subpoenaed, he says tied to his congressional testimony in June about costly pre-planned renovations to the Fed's headquarters in D.C. that shot from $1.9 to $2.5 billion. Though not taxpayer money, President Trump has slammed the overruns, while also repeatedly pressuring Powell to lower interest rates.
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates.
The chairman calling that pressure the true source of the criminal inquiry with the Federal Reserve.
Setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
Now, in a joint statement, all living former Fed chairs and several Treasury secretaries warning the DOJ inquiry threatens the Federal Reserve's independence and risks hurting the U.S. economy and inflation. The White House denies President Trump sought the investigation, and the president told NBC News he would not try to pressure Powell that way, adding, quote, "What should pressure him is the fact that rates are far too high. That's the only pressure he's got." The U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Jeanine Pirro, posted that her office contacted the Federal Reserve to discuss renovation cost overruns and Powell's testimony, but were ignored, necessitating the use of the legal process. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
We're also following developments out of Minnesota after an ICE agent shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good last week. Minnesota officials filed a lawsuit against the federal government yesterday to stop the deployment of immigration agents after federal officials ordered more to the state.
The deployment of thousands of armed, mass DHS agents to Minnesota has done our state serious harm. This is, in essence, a federal invasion of the Twin Cities and Minnesota, and it must stop.
The lawsuit names Homeland Security, ICE, and Border Protection, and according to NBC, those agencies have not yet responded to the suit. Now to your morning rush. President Trump says that he is imposing new tariffs on any countries doing business with Iran. The president announced 25% tariff in a social media post Monday, saying the order is final and goes into effect immediately. This comes as a nationwide crackdown of protests in Iran has reportedly left more than 2,000 people dead. A vascular surgeon accused of killing his ex-wife, and her current husband appeared in Illinois court yesterday. He was arrested on Saturday, accused of killing the Ohio couple on December 30th. The surgeon's lawyer requested a speedy return to Ohio so he can plead not guilty to the case. A shipping channel in Alabama was closed to traffic yesterday after a barge carrying scrap metal caught fire. State docks officials say that the barge was in what's called a fleeting area where barges remain stationary. The cause of the fire is under investigation. There were no injuries. And some skiers in Colorado are warning others about the potential threat of encountering an avalanche. The alert came after 3 people were caught in one, but all managed to escape without significant injury. And that's your morning rush. A trial is now underway for a Portland woman facing charges after her dogs attacked and killed a 6-year-old boy in 2023. We'll have the latest from the courtroom. And we're getting a look at new surveillance video appearing to show a suspect pouring gasoline inside a Mississippi synagogue before lighting it on fire. Why he says he did it, next on Sunrise.
KGW's Evening News. Important stories to help you stay informed and keep your family safe.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich.
And I'm David Molko.
Weather impact alerts to help you plan your week.
We need to be extra careful with anything that can throw a spark.
And a team of local journalists connected to our community. David Molko, Christine Pitawanich, and Matt Zaffino. Your Evening News team, tonight on KGW.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We are coming up on 729. On some cases, a pretty foggy morning commute. On others, it's not so bad. I-5 through North Portland is traffic a little slow, but no fog there. Meanwhile, over on the west side, that's the inbound Sunset out near Bethany Boulevard. Traffic slowing in the fog there. Right now, you're tripping from Hillsborough, averaging about 23 minutes. We'll take you down to West Lynn. I-205 southbound traffic running a little thick as well in the fog between West Lynn and Stafford Road. There you can see some light fog on that side of town. Right, back to you.
Well, we do have the dense fog advisory up from the Weather Service for the valley. It's kind of a mixed bag. It's been more foggy on the west side and really no fog across parts of East Multnomah County. But here's Washington County, the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club in Loa 33. That's definitely dense fog with no wind. Here's downtown Portland looking at shallow fog blanketing parts of the cityscape with clear skies above the fog. We're at 33, so it's a big coat morning. Assuming we have sunshine going into the afternoon, upper 40s to maybe reaching 50 degrees today. The 7-day continues to be all dry at this point into Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Monday. 49 today. Clouds could be with us much of the day tomorrow.
Good morning. We start this half-hour sunrise with a new forever stamp from the U.S. Postal Service. This one honors martial artist Bruce Lee. They say that he has inspired generations to explore the world of martial arts, action movies, and Asian culture. The Postal Service is hosting a first day of issue event on February 18th in Seattle.
I can't hit that position. Can you?
You know
ready?
what? I would have
I'm
thought
gonna stand
that.
right here. You give it a shot.
Well, I mean,
You don't wanna
standing
pull a
up,
hamstring when you do
I can
it.
barely do it, and I'm standing. See, that's not even it.
The design was
He was
pretty
like
cool.
extended. I can't do it.
He's doing the YMCA over here.
What? Yeah,
so
yeah.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
far
I can
off.
do that. The YM. How is that?
There's no martial art involvement.
YM. Yeah, whatever. C.
C?
I can't even do
Go back
that.
to theater school.
Oh, my
It's
Lanta.
turned into a catastrophe. Here's a look at one of our live sky cameras on a cold, frosty for some, foggy morning for many. Here's one of our sky cameras, the one down in Salem. That is the Capitol Mall grass, and you can't see the Capitol. So it's been back and forth. At times this morning we've had good visibility of the Capitol, then not. Temperature is 32 at McNary Field. One spot that has never shown fog is this location. Doesn't mean that this couldn't change. Sometimes you get fog banks developing all the way into the 8 o'clock hour. Vancouver, the Springs at the waterfront, though, just gorgeous, mainly clear up top, and the pre-sunrise colors painting the Columbia River yellow or gold. 33 is the number. It is foggy going into downtown Portland currently. We'll be 44 at noon, probably a mixed bag of some fog banks and sunshine and clear skies later today. May get up into the 50s. I was 48 at 5 p.m. Here's Chris.
Yesterday afternoon without the fog was gorgeous. All right, this morning in the fog, in some cases, there's your drive through West Lynn. That's I-205 just south of West Lynn, so fog kind of thick there as it is in Wilsonville. Last check there, you can see the headlights there headed northbound from the Wilsonville Road on-ramp. And something is hanging up the drive right now out in the Bethany area. We'll check that out in a second. 18 minutes your trip across the Columbia on the I-5 commute. That's from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. I want to zoom in real quick out to Bethany. I don't see any crash indicators here, but something is really making things pretty tight right now between Tannisbourne and 217. Highway 26, that drive time starting to tick up a little bit. 23 minutes to get you from Hillsborough to downtown. China.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, you need to turn around and come back. And I said, well, is everything okay? And she said no.
On December 5th, 2023, a grandmother of a 6-year-old boy learned that he was attacked and killed by 2 dogs. This week, a trial is underway for the Portland woman who was the owner of those 2 dogs. Alma McCarty has more from the first day in court.
On a rainy December morning back in 2023, police officers blocked a northeast Portland street investigating a heartbreaking and deadly incident. Investigators found 6-year-old Loyalty Scott dead inside a home after he was mauled by 2 dogs named Carlos and Lola, belonging to Coco Miller.
She had been in the garage, that Loyalty had opened a door to the garage. Carlos had been in the garage and had lunged at and attacked the victim. The other dog, Lola, then joined in the assault, and that she was unable to pull both of the dogs off of Loyalty.
Months later, a grand jury indicted her on 4 felony charges, including criminally negligent homicide and maintaining a dangerous dog.
She did everything she could to put herself between the dog and the child. When she had nothing left physically, she yelled for the child to run. He said he could not. Miss Miller ran to retrieve her firearm in an attempt to stop the dog. When she returned, the dog trotted past her. It was then, only then, that she realized the child was no longer alive.
On Monday, Miller's trial began. Loyalty's grandmother, Rena Scott, took the stand.
Loyalty loved animals, and if he seen them, he would call them. He would try to approach them if they were. He wouldn't understand they were being aggressive until he actually seen it.
She testified about the initial phone call from Miller, hinting at what had happened.
Yeah, you need to turn around and come back. And I said, well, is everything okay? And she said no. She said he was gone. And I said, you need to find my baby. I thought he had ran off at first.
While prosecutors argue this attack was predictable and preventable, the defense says the tragedy was a perfect storm of unforeseeable events.
That was Alma McCarty reporting. A prolific tagger was sentenced to 4 years in prison yesterday for his graffiti convictions, but that may just be the start of it. Jacob Ramos is known for the beard tag that sprayed across the city, but he now faces more charges after investigators say a search of his home turned up nearly a dozen guns and evidence of gun-making workshop. In an update, we have learned a 64-year-old woman has died after she couldn't get out of a house fire in Northeast Portland yesterday morning. We first brought you the story as breaking news on Sunrise yesterday. Investigators believe flames broke out on the main floor, sending smoke upstairs, but the woman was found unresponsive. They think an extension cord attached to a portable space heater started the fire. Officials say any large appliance should be plugged directly into a grounded wall outlet, never a power strip or extension cord. Firefighters also did not find any working smoke detectors in the home on Northeast Garfield.
As most people know, it's hard for small businesses out here, and we're no exception.
A local family-owned business says one of their employees stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from them last year. The owner of restaurant Verde Cochina says that their catering manager was taking customers' payments for himself and had pocketed over $280,000. The district attorney's office says more evidence against the employee needs to be collected before there's a case, although documents confirm that the employee did admit to stealing $285,000.
He was somebody that we trusted. It was from a Square account, but it wasn't ours. He was using our logo, our name, but it wasn't from our account.
According to the DA's office, the initial case has been dismissed, but it's still actively being investigated, and charges are expected to be filed eventually. Woodburn police reminding people of the risk of drunk driving after this incident. Around 11 p.m. Sunday night, officers say an impaired driver crashed into a power pole, sheared it from its base, and dragged it nearly 100 feet before coming to a stop. This happened in the area of North Pacific Highway and East Lincoln Street. The driver was not injured, but was arrested on charges including DUI and reckless driving. Hey, take a good look at your screen right now. Woodburn Police Department asking for help tracking down this man who they say stole 2 packages from a home on Delia Street in Woodburn. He's described as being between 5'9", 6 feet tall. They say he was seen getting into a silver or gold sedan with a dent in the front passenger side fender. So if you see him or have any other information, contact Woodburn Police with that number there on your screen, 503-982-2345. All right, you may want to cover the kiddos' eyes before this next story, but rest assured it's all for a good cause here. In one southern Oregon town, older residents are helping out their town by stripping down, creating this naked calendar to help the town raise money. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us now. Thomas, how did we get here?
Yeah, well, look, John, I mean, we've all heard those stories of towns having a tough budget and having to cut back a little bit, right? Well, in Lakeview, Oregon, down in Lake County, that's southern Oregon, they are, instead of tightening their belt, loosening it and just dropping those pants completely. Let's show you some of those photos that we're talking about right here. This is from the 2026 Naked Calendar down there in Lakeview. And yeah, as you can see, these are some of the town's older residents doing their part generously to help out. Recently, Lakeview learned it may have to cut its snowplow services this year because there's just not enough money to go around. And that can be a real big problem down there because Lakeview can get more than 50 inches of snow every year. So these residents decided to help out, hiking up their bootstraps, dropping trowel, and getting to posing.
Well, I told people who, when I was trying to get models, that you do have to be naked because it changes your face. Even if you're covered strategically, you know you're naked and it changes things.
Yeah, you know, and those buyers do too. And so far, this thing has taken off. Already, they've raised more than $50,000, and they plan on selling even more. So if you haven't gotten that calendar yet and you are interested, you can do so. And by the way, this is not just going to be a one-time thing. I asked Dodds, hey, any idea of this coming back next year? And she said, yeah, as a matter of fact, we've already got some women in their 80s and 90s planning a photo shoot on a classic car. And I think we got some music playing as well. Look, we did a little bit of getting into the spirit last hour. I'm not going to do that, China. I'm better than that, but you know what? I can't say the same thing about my photographer, Chad Dehart here. He's getting a little too into the spirit. So before we go any further, we're going to have to throw it back to you.
Put the belt back on. Oh my goodness, you guys. We're trying to keep our jobs around here and you're making it tough. You're making it tough.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Michelle, thank you for that one.
Just saying, by the way. Pretty good looking people down there in Lake County, I think. China?
Yes.
Yeah. For what it's worth, here's our Oregon Zoo camera. No noticeable fog on the ground up in the West Hills this morning. 37 degrees is the temperature. And KGW, by the way, we're right next to Lincoln High School, and I'm looking out my window, and there's no fog here in the downtown city core. We do have the fog that's along the Willamette River and I-5 as you come into town. But look at this. No fog. It's been this way all morning. No fog really out on the east side. This has now cleared the fog. No fog into Portland. But there's the west side where it's been foggy all morning. Still dense fog, a quarter of a mile visibility down in McMinnville. Salem, the fog seems to be improving already. There is some fog in Tillamook County, but nothing that's overly bad. Just kind of a typical foggy morning where it's bad, then it's not bad, and some areas simply haven't seen it. Everybody's got a morning chill going. 32 in Hillsboro, 37 West Lynn. Bit of an east wind is probably blowing at 1,000 feet in the Happy Valley, which is where that thermometer is that shows 40 degrees. That's 30 in Almsville, 32 in Corvallis. The Weather Service does have a freezing fog advisory from Corvallis down to Eugene for a heightened chance of maybe some surprise icy spots down that way. Splits is our KGW pet of the day. Really sweet, beautiful photo of Splits there. Use the email address petoftheday@kgw.com. Send us your pet's photo. We'll get them on the show as our pet of the day. Everybody's dry. We've got 40s and 50s out east. We have maybe 60 in Bend today. It was 60 in Lincoln City yesterday. More sun and well up into the 50s at the coast today. And here in Portland, we might just get up into the 50s, or maybe some areas will stay shy. I'm being conservative, 49, but it was 55 yesterday. If we clear out soon this morning, we'll at least be up into the low 50s probably. Tomorrow, though, could be a different animal. Might be a day on Wednesday where we have fog in the morning and it just kind of stays cloudy throughout the day. Here's Chris McGinnis.
Rod, we pick it up with a traffic alert on the west side. So here it is, inbound on Highway 26. We were wondering what was hanging up the drive, and it looks like there's a couple of cars tangled up in a wreck here, not far from the Bethany exit ramp here. It looks like the eastbound right and center lanes are blocked. You can see a number of emergency crews just now pulling up on the scene, and traffic eastbound now is getting by at about 5 miles an hour, maybe 8 miles an hour. And the lineup now is extending back deep into the Tannisbourne area. This is at 185th. Back towards Cornelius Pass Road. So just know that drive coming in from Hillsboro has ballooned upwards in the last few minutes. We're 36 to 40 minutes now to get you in from Helvetia, Brookwood Parkway to I-405. China will stay on top of this for you.
Thank you, Chris. As playoff energy builds in Seattle, the Seahawks are warning against reselling playoff tickets as it will come with consequences. We'll have that after the break.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
The Seahawks are back in Seattle this Saturday to play the 49ers in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. And this morning, the team is warning fans that reselling playoff tickets could cost you next season's renewal. King 5's Natalie Swaby explains.
Seattle will soon be bursting with playoff energy.
I love my town. I love the Seahawks.
And the Seahawks-49ers rivalry, it's revved up and roaring.
You're looking at that Warriors, the town, the real town, Oaktown.
Seattle! A Bay Area faithful versus a diehard 12. Who's going to win?
Is he right?
These guys. No, absolutely not.
Battle lines cut across the city with fans staking their claims.
I am a Rams fan. My husband's a 49er fan. And my son's a Seattle fan.
For her son, she captures the moment.
It's his team, so I want to take pictures for him.
A picture at Lumen Field, a place known for being loud.
Oh yeah, one of the highest decibels ever, so yeah.
I still remember what it was like being there. The noise hit such a deafening level that it turned into a hum.
Jeff Hindle is a season ticket holder.
And then we have a firm policy in our group that nobody sells their tickets to non-Seahawks fans.
Now the Seahawks are sending out their warning about playoff ticket resales.
We're happy to provide the ability to resell. If they determine that your tickets were primarily used for resale, I think that's the tipping point.
If ticket holders do resell, it could affect their renewal eligibility next season.
Right, no pun intended with Seahawks, but I'm glad they're finally ruffling some feathers. Yeah.
I get that, to support your own hometown team. Oh yeah.
I mean, you go there for a collective experience. And yeah, it's fun sparring with fans from other teams and things like that in a fun way, but it's way more fun high-fiving, a Seahawks fan when something fantastic happens.
We're going to go hard, like we always do.
Seattle sports fans are soaking it up.
Take a step back and really look at the history of things. It's like we're living in wonderful times right now, and hopefully more wonderful after Saturday.
In Seattle.
We're loyal, we're loud, go Hawks.
Natalie Swaby.
Straight up.
King 5 News.
No.
We got a lot of basketball coming your way, though. Season 8 of Friday Night Hoops tips off this Friday. It is your one-stop shop for boys and girls high school basketball, along with the Blazers and college ball. Orlando Sanchez and our team of photojournalists will be out across the region to bring you all the action every Friday night.
Yeah. You got me thinking of sports, and I can't even remember what the heck I'm going to be talking about.
Fog, warm temperatures in the mountains.
Yes, that sounds familiar.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll just do your job.
Let's go up to Timberline, and I wanted to show you this camera. 2 reasons. Number 1, it's beautiful. Number 2, the snow still looks great, but it will start to get increasingly kind of old looking. We have a 49-degree temperature, which is the main reason I wanted to show you this. Big time temperature inversion. It's literally 20 degrees warmer up at Timberline than it is in parts of the Willamette Valley this morning. It's about as strong of an inversion as we get. And the fact that they're this warm at night into morning, and we'll be in the 50s today, and they could do this again tomorrow, that's when you really start to melt snow, when it's above freezing day and night with the sun shining, and that's the case, I'm afraid. There's a look at the blue sky over the lodge itself. And here's the fact that the cloud flow that we had over the weekend, and to some degree yesterday, has now shifted well to our north. So once we lose the valley fog, we'll just have sunshine. Now, Futurecast, this is 11 o'clock this morning, still shows some fog south of Portland down through Salem and Eugene, and then it kind of hangs on to some of that. So again, as a forecaster, when you have light winds and you have fog, and especially if you have a temperature inversion, which tends to lock things down, it's very difficult to stand here and promise clearing or not. Now, if you don't get clearing, I can promise you your temperatures could be as chilly as 43 degrees this afternoon. Futurecast does show the low clouds and fog tomorrow morning, very well highlighted, and even more so tomorrow than this morning. And again, if this is the case tomorrow in places like Salem, maybe even Portland, fail to get the sun, tomorrow's high would only be in the low to mid 40s. Right now, the fog is fairly shallow, which would make you think and believe that we will get out of this and see some sunshine. See how clear it is up top? And there you can see the shallow fog down below. That's the Shalem Tasting Room in Sherwood. Here's from the Wells Fargo camera. This is cool because look at the rail. It looks like a rail right here. That's the Markham Bridge. You've got fog right down low on the Willamette. Then you got the Markham Bridge. And when you get inland into the downtown city core, there really is no fog. Really cool shot. All right, 39 Kelso, freezing in Salem, 27 now down in Eugene. It's 49 in Astoria, where it will be easily well in the 50s today. So the question today is, when do we clear, and will we hit 50 or not? We'll see. Winds will be light during the day. This does show 54 in Longview and Battleground. Yesterday, PDX at 55. Tomorrow, cloudiness that potentially stays with us all day after morning fog and low clouds. We'll see 46. Then we have an east wind pickup. That would be no fog on Thursday and Friday, just sunny skies in Portland, 54 degrees each day. Here's Chris.
Ron, thanks for that. We've got a traffic alert on the west side, Highway 26 eastbound near Bethany Boulevard. A couple of cars tangled up in a crash here eastbound, and you can't see from this vantage point, because it looks like it's been kind of socked in with some fog. But there are 2 eastbound lanes blocked right now, so I can show you the backup. This is out past 185th. Getting out towards Cornelius Pass Road. So the drive-in from Hillsborough has jumped up to about 45 minutes at last check, and building. Be aware of that as you come in from the west side. That's going to be pretty tight getting through the Bethany interchange. Interstate 84 also running a little slow right now in from Troutdale. No crashes reported, but we're up to 32 minutes now from the Sandy River crossing to the I-5 split. China?
Thank you, Chris. TriMet is holding open houses this week on proposed service cuts. The agency is trying to close a $300 million budget gap. Among the proposed changes, adjusting bus routes, shortening the Max Green Line, and cutting bus service to South Gresham, parts of Westland, and Tualatin. There are several chances to weigh in this week with virtual and in-person sessions. Dates and times are on TriMet's website. You can also give your feedback in a survey online January 31st. Well, travelers flying without a real ID compliant license or other acceptable forms of ID will soon have to pay up, because starting February 1st, passengers who still want to fly can pay $45 to use TSA's alternative identity verification system. The agency says the option will apply to a 10-day travel window. TSA says most passengers already have compliant ID, but warn that those who don't should expect longer wait times at security. New surveillance video shows a man pouring what authorities suspect to be gasoline before setting fire to a Mississippi synagogue. We'll have more on that in just 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Caught on camera in Mississippi, a 19-year-old has been charged with arson after breaking into a synagogue and lighting it on fire. And now new video shows the moment he poured gasoline inside. NBC's Jesse Kirsch has more.
This is what's left of Jackson, Mississippi's only Jewish house of worship after an anti-Semitic attack. The Beth Israel Synagogue largely reduced to rubble after a suspect deliberately set fire to the temple. This synagogue surveillance footage shows the hooded attacker pouring gasoline inside. Authorities say 19-year-old Stephen Spencer Pittman is now charged with arson after confessing to lighting the fire because of the building's Jewish ties. According to the FBI, map data shows Pittman left home early Saturday, stopped at a gas station, and then arrived at what he called the Synagogue of Satan. That's when he allegedly used an axe to break a window, poured gasoline, and set the synagogue on fire. Later, Pittman allegedly laughed as he told his father what he did and said he finally got them. Investigators say the suspect's father turned in his son.
Attack against the synagogue is an attack against all of us.
A congregation spokesperson says no synagogue members were injured in the attack, but at least 2 sacred prayer scrolls were destroyed. Anti-Semitic incidents have been surging in the U.S. after Hamas's 2023 terror attack on Israel, according to recent data from the Anti-Defamation League. This was not the first attack on Beth Israel. In 1967, the Ku Klux Klan bombed the temple and the home of its anti-segregationist rabbi, according to the synagogue website.
Coming up at 8, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with the investigation of a Portland police officer after some controversial comments he made during an anti-ICE protest were caught on camera.